a bridge that is being formed between you and them. For there has been tampering and there has been damage to the bridge or the cord of energy that gives you full access to their light and their love and their power and their beauty and their divinity. And this bridge has been now restored. And as you pass through the lion gate and you feel the presence of the white lion on either side of you and the potency of its strength and courage and energy, it expands the aperture, widening a portal so that you may have access to connect and to walk over and to meet your Lyran family. All right, good afternoon and welcome everybody. My name is Kelly Kolodney and I am also known as the Angel Lady. So I've been channeling the Archangel Raphael since I was 21 years old, a college student. And it's been a long and fabulous and beautiful, magical journey. So I have been sort of looking out at the vast sea of the ocean for a few weeks and being bathed in sweetness and presence. And it feels really good to be home, to be here, and to get back in connecting with all of you. So, welcome back. Today, I will be answering questions from our members and our audience who are going to raise their hand. I'm going to channel the Angel Raphael. You'll be able to ask a question, and then Raphael will answer it. I also have the Master Ascension Light Code Oracle deck, and I thought it could be fun to pull some cards. Cards are pulling themselves and falling out of the deck. Let's see which one fell. Hold on. Ah, ah, ah. Okay. The twin flame light code, which is really interesting on many levels. However, the twin flame light code is, look at who's here. We've got Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. And yesterday was Mary Magdalene's feast day. And in the High Priestess code, you guys have been tuning in and working with Mary Magdalene. So I love that that's showing up. And in addition to that, this is the energy of the violet flame, which we'll be tapping into as our next light code. So that's so perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to see if there's any other cards that really want to come out and attune to us to prepare, and then we'll start. And today is a new moon. And the energy that was coming in, and I had spoken with Debashri earlier today, and she was saying that in India, this particular new moon is a time to light candles for all of your ancestors and to really connect with the ancestral energy. And what I was picking up as I was meditating before we joined today was a lot of energy coming in for massive transformation and transmutation, especially of heavier and denser energies and karmic energies that we've carried for lifetime after lifetime that we're really ready to let go of. And so stuff is coming to the surface. And I think that that's what came up in our last transmission last week, that truth was coming up to be revealed, whether that's in your personal life or it's on in a political thing or global scale. Excuse me. So I'm just going to pull a couple cards around that and see what comes up, and then we'll get into the challenge. All right. What do we have? Oh, okay. Gratitude. So important to remember to be in the moment and to drop into what is working and not to get too caught up in all the craziness out there. Really, really key. Personal power with the energy of the jaguar, to stand in our power, to have our boundaries, to know our worth, to know who it is that we are. So that's about not hiding our own truth, our own divinity, our own light. Ah, and freedom. Interesting. to liberate ourselves from constructs to paradigms to belief systems to old patterns to ways of being in the past that are no longer serving us, where we are still tied to what we think we should do. All right, that's so sweet. All right, so let's get into the channeling. I'm going to prepare and bring in Raphael. We'll see what comes up. Hmm. All right. Ow, 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 ow. We are very delighted to be here today and to attune to all of you and your energy and support you in whatever way we can. And so, what is it that you're wanting to talk about?
Hi, Raphael. One question that we got the other day was about the Lyrans. And now that we're moving towards the Lion Gate, some people are curious about the Lyrans and how to connect with them, and if they feel resonant with that energy, how to amplify that inside of themselves.
Well, we are very attuned to their vibration and frequency, as you are aware that the Lyran vibration and the angelic energy interfaces and connects in a very deep way. For their vibration is very powerful and potent and protective. However, they were the first of many galactic beings that perhaps what we would say had a block, in a sense, to their direct connection here to the plane in which you are in and on Earth. And the Stargate and attunement to their frequency was tampered with. And because of that, your capacity, if you are a Lyran, meaning that your vibration, and of course all of you are on some level, but others carrying more of a connection to their vibration, is that there felt a sense of missing something, or that you could not find your way home, or that those in which you feel deeply connected to are not here, and that you are always longing for something. And part of that is because the cord that connected you to your Lyran families was disconnected, and the ability to remain on an etheric level, even during sleep time, with your Lyran family was not accessible. And so this created a lot of distortion and disharmonic frequencies and feelings of abandonment within those who carry this original seedings of the Lyran vibration. Their vibration is of a very high frequency that carries great love and enormous purity in the 12th gateway and above, in which many energies are filtered through, and those in which you are more familiar with descend from the Lyran vibration. Any of you who feel a connection to the feline frequency and these energies are attuning to the Lyran's vibration, and they are very accessible, and their access point is coming in much stronger as you are attuning to the Lion Gate. One moment, please. are attuning to the Lyran vibration now, as it is wanting you to know that it is creating a pathway and repairing a bridge that is being formed between you and them. For there has been tampering and there has been damage to the bridge or the cord of energy that gives you full access to their light and their love and their power and their beauty and their divinity. And this bridge has been now restored. And as you pass through the lion gate and you feel the presence of the white lion on either side of you and the potency of its strength and courage and energy, it expands the aperture, widening a portal so that you may have access to connect and to walk over and to meet your Lyran family and these beings of light in which you have left such a long time ago. As you come into union and reconnection with this, a homecoming of sorts. And as you attune to them, there is a spaciousness that opens inside their heart center that feels almost cavernous. And as this spaciousness opens, it envelops and invites you inside, as if you are stepping inside the heart of the lion and lioness vibration and frequency. And as you move into it, a quickening occurs and happens within the heart center as it brings it into coherence. And as the coherence occurs and the stirring and the quickening happens, you'll feel a rush of energy that will move from the base of your spine and begin to rise up through your entire body, a quickening like nothing you have felt before. And emerging in a reunion with this energy will bring tears to your eyes as you will remember the moments before amnesia in the deep forgetting of your human experience and the remembering that you too were a part of this collective in which you came to earth in the original seeding and taking place of bringing the energies to this planet. And as time passed and energies covered up so much, and the memories began to become part of the distant past in the deep forgetting, the unveiling of these energies is occurring as the veil becomes thinner and thinner. And it is though before, when there was a large block keeping you from this deep remembering and connection, not only has the block begun to disintegrate and not only has the veil lifted, but you come in direct contact with their energy and their light, and their eyes that are piercing and magnificent and beautiful begin to look into yours. You will recognize a Lyran vibration by the piercing frequency and the potency of their eyes, as if they are seeing right through you and sending energies into your heart center. As these energies begin to come in and you feel their presence, it is almost as if they will be washing away a part of forgetting, and an awakening will occur, and floods of memories from the distant past of your connection and your original connection here on earth with them will come into the forefront of your experience. And as that begins to occur, information about the destiny of who it is that you are and the plan of your awakening will become clearer, and clarity will open as your pineal gland will be activated. And so in the questioning or wondering about the Lyran vibration or feeling a resonance or an attunement to it is because it is approaching you. It is coming closer. And on July 28th, as the gateway opens, you will feel an intensity, a surge of these energies and vibrations, and a tingling at the base of the spine as the Kundalini begins to slowly rise like a fire rising at the base of your energy field, opening up spaces in dormant places that have not been seen or felt or revealed for so long. And so this energy will come to its peak as you step into the number of 8 of the infinite frequency, multiplied by 2 of the 64, attuning to the goddesses and the yoginis and the vibration of the breath and the beauty of the light that resides within. And so you feel this sense, this pulsation, this knowing as they are arriving, and that of the white lion that walks upon the land here, crossing the deserts and the places in which often feel as though one cannot find or see in the extinction of their experience. We are wanting to assure you that that of the white lion that is so few and random and missing has not gone into extinction but into another dimension, and yet more of them have chosen now at this time to begin to descend back into your dimension, so that many births of the many white lions will be taking place in recent times, and this will be the marking and the connection that you are returning home and that they are reseeding with higher frequencies and new ways of being your earth at this time.
Thank you, Raphael. And so right now we're in this special moon, and a lot of people are lighting candles for their ancestors. Could you speak to how connecting with our ancestors at this time can assist us in a deeper remembrance?
Ah, ah. Well, it is that they are flooding in, because it is that as you are being asked at this time to transmute old karmic patterns, energies, and frequencies, they too are being asked of the same. And when a clearing and a healing and forgiveness and understanding and compassion in relationship to your ancestors takes place within them and within you, it has a rippling effect that affects the whole. And so, on a deep cellular level, many memories are surfacing, similar to the memories surfacing about your origin or your original connection, let's say to your galactic family, or in our discussion to the Lyran beings, your original connection to your ancestors, their lineage, and their attunement to their original selves, and any accumulated karmic energies or frequencies to date that have not had a chance to move into a higher octave or to be transmuted are coming into your awareness. That is why we have been talking for a while about hidden truths coming to the surface, because anything buried within your ancestral lineage or that might be labeled as trauma is surfacing, not to cause pain for you, but to cause or to create the opportunity for healing on a deep level that reverberates through all ancestral lineages.
Thank you, Raphael. And could you tell us a little bit about what we're supposed to do with these hidden truths that are surfacing, especially if some of them are hard to accept or seem to be dark or something along these lines? What is it that we're supposed to do as light beings when these truths surface? And how much should we be focusing on them?
Ah, it is not to go seeking them out or to forcefully shed light necessarily on them, but due to the fact that so much plasmic light is hitting the planet at this time, it is a natural unfoldment that much is coming to the surface to seek attention for the recognition that it has been there, and not to deny it, but to recognize and to see it, to bring it to the surface for all to see, and for an opportunity for an understanding of where it originated from, and to go to the core of its origin, to the root of where it took place, and to go into that deep rooted space and to look at it and to bring the vibration of compassion and of love to it, where it began to flower or proliferate or expand energetically in certain pockets, because the origin was never recognized. It was only the reprimanding of the surface energies of the outcome or the ramifications of the origin itself. And so blame often takes place in this way when one is only looking at the surface results rather than spiraling into the depth with compassion of where it originated from. And with that and the shedding of light on that origin, when one can have true understanding and compassion of where it came from, where its seed point was, then it no longer carries any strength and nothing more can be born from it.
Yes, and last question before we open it up, just a follow-up on that, to ask, a lot of people struggle to have compassion for some of these things because they feel that in doing so, they invalidate the experience of those that might be a victim to the things that are, to the truths that are being exposed. How do we balance of going into having compassion for all things while honoring all experiences?
Ah, perhaps there is something in particular you are referencing in which you are hiding.
Well, there are just lots of things coming up to the surface, and one in there are. I'm talking about wars. I am talking about child trafficking. I am talking about all kinds of things that are happening in governments around the world, or at least that seem to be being revealed at this point, and we don't know for sure. And I'm just curious that when we bring up a topic such as um, war or the abuse of children or any of these kinds of things, how do we toe the line of holding compassion for the origin of where something has come from and the honoring of someone else's experience with the condemnation that what happened to them was wrong?
Ah, ah. Well, from a much larger perspective, there is no victim or no perpetrator. And yet, the idea of that is horrifying and very difficult to even begin to contemplate. Because, especially in a situation where one is harmed or an innocent is life is taken in some way, one wants to find who did it, who is the perpetrator, who is the one to blame, who is it the one to hold responsible, who is it the one to jail, who is it the one to throw stones at for that act. And we understand that that is the reality and the paradigm of the construct of the human experience that you are facing at this time. And in doing that, that gives a sense of peace or a sense of perhaps validation for the one who was victimized or hurt in some way or on the other end of something that was horrific. But often these energies that are playing out stem from something much wider, much larger, much bigger, much more hidden that are playing with this frequency. And in doing so, it is done to create a sense of separation. It is done to create a sense of the vibration of victimhood and perpetrator and blame, so that more war and more energy can be cultivated and drawn upon in those vibrational fields. And so when one gives into that, although it appears to be the way to behave in such a situation, it fuels the origin of where the energy itself is coming from, which is a control mechanism coming from a few that are operating in a way to keep a sense of a pivoting against one another. And so when they can create a scenario or a story or a situation which is true and valid that takes place and is horrific, but it is perpetuated or expanded or highlighted, it creates a sense of injustice within others and they become angry. And in that angriness, they fuel towards something in a sense of what is right and what is wrong, which creates more polarity. But if one can move beyond the story of what is occurring and look at it at a deeper level and are able to find, which is not easy, we understand, a sense of compassion and a sense of integration between the victim and the perpetrator choosing to play out this particular scenario. And they are able to transcend that energy to find forgiveness and to find compassion and to go to the seed point of the origin of the trauma itself. It then dislodges the energetic pattern that then no longer has to continue to perpetuate or play itself out, in which it pulls it up from the root, and that in which is trying to continue that to proliferate has nothing to send out. No more signals can get hooked within the energetic field because it's not allowing itself to be hooked into it. Now, we recognize from the framework of the structure of the cognitive thinking of the mind in your current way of operating, this seems very difficult. And we recognize that. But the transcendence of that, with the capacity to perhaps place the attention on the origin of the perpetrator's seed point, to find that seed point and step into a state of forgiveness and compassion dislodges the energetic pattern in which the need for it to continue to perpetuate itself further in the collective no longer exists because there is no longer polarity. It moves into a state of neutrality. However, it requires larger numbers of people to move into that state of consciousness simultaneously in order to deactivate these perpetual frequencies of war and child trafficking, etc. And until the consciousness is able to step into that frequency, they will continue to be a witness to these specific ways of being and events that are continuously unfolding in your reality. Hey everybody! So it is my very favorite time of the year. It's the Lion Gate, and I love the Lion Gate. I'm very attuned to the white lion frequency. Sometimes I think I kind of look like a white lion, and I've had very powerful connections with them. And the Lyrans and the Syrians are aligned with us during the Lion Gate. And this year, the Lion Gate, not only is it opening on July 28th and it runs through August 12th, but on August 9th, the day after the Lion Gate at its height, which is the 8-8 portal, is a full moon. So it's going to be incredibly amplified and powerful. And not only are we going to pass through the gateway, but we are going to cross a bridge. And we're going to cross the bridge together. But we can't build bridges alone. We build them together. And so I can't build a bridge by myself to 5D, nor can perhaps you. But collectively, in community and in love and in unity, we can. So I know there's a lot going on the planet right now, but I know one thing we can do. We can gather in love and in peace during the Lion Gate. So I'm opening it up to everyone. It's donation-based. Everyone is welcome. Our last activation, we had over 3,000 people holding love and light. So if you want to join us, we would love to have you. It starts at 11:11 a.m. New York time on August 8th. So we'll see you there. Mwah. Continuously unfolding in your reality.
Thank you, Raphael. And lastly, How do we who want to choose that summon the strength to choose compassion and forgiveness in the face of an extreme emotional reaction to something that seems horrific?
Ah, to find where within you, perhaps at a much smaller scale, you have had a similar reaction or behaved in a certain way. And you might say, well, there is nothing that I have ever done in my life that could come anywhere close to the crimes that we are speaking of. But perhaps within the psyche, there is some seed, some piece that is seeking support, love, understanding, compassion. Because if it is to invoke such emotion within you as it is reflected to you, it means that a piece of that, which is part of the web of the collective of all consciousness, is residing inside. And it is beckoning and begging of your attention to be seen and to be loved and to be forgiven within your own self.
Thank you, Raphael. All right, so I'm going to open it up to other people to ask questions. And today I'm just calling on people that we haven't heard from. And remember, we're asking one question and no follow-up questions. If there's a follow-up question, I'll ask you to do so. And please keep it universal and concise. Thank you. All right, Crystal, go ahead.
Good day.
Hello.
Uh, Hello. I just have a question. I wrote it down so I didn't fumble my words. The question is, as we, the collective of like heart, connect to our divine selves and stabilize that frequency, how might we be of service to the world when we personify Creator Source?
Oh, we were already a service to the world if you are personifying Christ's source. If you are in alignment with who it is that you are, expressing to the fullest of your capacity, in relationship to the vibration of love, you are already being of service simply by doing that. At times, there is this idea within the human collective that one must do or act in a specific way in order to be of service. But it is when one is in alignment with who they are, in their authentic self, expressing with the vibration of love, that in itself is being of service.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Crystal. And Raphael, can you just speak a little bit more to the value of stepping into and expressing our authenticity for people who just really need to hear that right now, that struggle with a voice that says that they have to be productive in order to be valuable?
Oh, it is productive that often one recognizes in your perhaps reality as being valuable that has been deeply programmed in you. And it was programmed so that you would be distracted and continuously working, in which you were disconnecting from the present moment and your attunement to nature and to the abundant reality and support of the universe. When you are in your mind, what you call productive in your current paradigm and way of thinking, that productive frequency is often actually counterproductive because it keeps you from your authenticity, from your essence, from your creativity, from the attunement that everything in which you are needing at all times is already there and provided for you. And as you fall back into the real faith and trusting and knowing in that, you become productive, but not from a place of needing to be productive because you are afraid you will not have enough, or from a place of productivity because of fear of lack, but productivity from a place of creativity, productivity from a place of inspiration, productivity from a place of service and attunement to the authenticity of your true nature. And those are two different ways and beings of productivity. And so an attunement to where your productivity source is originated from, why it is being perpetuated, and to what end is of great value.
Thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Crystal. All right, Bonnie, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. First time asking a question. So much love and gratitude. Here, my video. Okay. My question is, as we become attuned with energies, how do we keep our masculine and feminine energy in balance? How do we attune to that? And in terms of our own sovereignty, how do we learn to work with those energies to keep ourselves in balance?
Oh, oh, oh. It is your divine nature for them to be in balance. And it is that we are wondering what it is that you are worrying about, or if you are feeling that a particular energy is out of balance or disconnected from itself. What is the concern here?
Um, well, I mean, for example, for myself personally, sometimes when I'm meditating, I'll feel energies coming out of like my masculine side, out of my right temple, things like that. And so, as all of us learn to attune to energies, how do we know if it's something that is discordant and needs to be transmuted, or if it's something that we should just allow to happen to be in a state of flow?
Ah. Well, all of the energy is to be loved. All of it is to be felt, to be seen, to be cared for, to allow it to have its expression. If there is discordant energy that arises, then it is arising for it to flow and have its life. Discordant energy only becomes an issue or begins to create dis-ease in the body when it is repressed or when it is not allowed to have its life, when it is placed somewhere or it is labeled in some way. And so, whatever energy during a state of meditation, with the intention that you are aligning all energies to come into a coherent field, is alchemized by your intention alone. And so, if it comes up, the need to label or to know it as discordant or too much masculine energy or too much feminine energy or etc., means that there is a judgment toward it and how it should be, rather than allowing and noticing that it is arising, that it is moving into a flow state, and for it to go and to run its course until it dissipates and it begins to return into the origin of the emptiness, into the spaciousness of the expansiousness of who it is that you are. So, in a meditative state, we encourage the releasing of the mind, moving into the stillness, and it can have an awareness of the energy and the flow of it. But when the thinking mind wants to recognize, that is my left side or my right side or my feminine or my masculine, or that energy is balanced and filled with light, or that energy is discordant or dark, it is defeating the purpose of the presence of the meditation itself, in which there is an allowance for all energy without label or judgment to come into coherence, simply by allowing it to run through you without being caught in the mind as labeled as to what it should be.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Raphael. All right, Brenda, go ahead.
Hi. My question has to do with religion, world religions. Raphael, you mentioned at one point we would be having a deconstruction of beliefs. And I want to know, from 2025 to say the next 5 years to 2030, how would we best navigate changes that we are, connections to our galactic families and things like that, that we have yet to really have an empirical connection. Can you address this? I apologize for my poor wording.
Well, there is an amplification in a small percentage of the population that is attaching itself to the structure of religion in order to create a safety net, because they are operating from a place of fear, and this is where there is a feeling of safety. But for the majority of the population, the need for the construct in specific ways is lessening as the recognition that it is all the same, as they are beginning to sense the essence, the purity of love that resonates through all of this, and that anything that has been placed in a religious construct that creates hierarchy or that separates one from another or judges one from another or thinks it is better than another will not be able to flourish and eventually will not even be able to survive in the current consciousness that is unfolding on your planet. The second part to your question, perhaps in relationship to the galactic families and your attunement to these original seedings and beings of light that now you have more access to, who are coming onto your planet in a way in which more of you are creating connection and relationships to, will continue to occur. However, it will never come in the form of a religion or a specific way of being or doing things with a system. It is systemless. It is an energy of purity. And when it begins to attach itself to a specific system or to an energy of hierarchy in that way, that it is no longer coming from its original pure source, and one should be or use perhaps discernment around it. And so perhaps this is answering some of what it is you're wanting to know. But many are asking on a timeline when you will have contact with the galactics in a way that will be perceived or recognized or acknowledged by the masses, in which more of the majority of you will not just sense them and connect with them on an etheric level, but they will appear in a way that would be undeniable, that would be recognized from your global community, is something that is approaching you. You are coming closer to the potential and to the possibility of this interaction and interfacing as more and more of you are opening on an etheric level and in the heart level and through activations and connections with them in preparation, as you are the foundation layers and preparers for the energy to be to create a sacred space and container for larger numbers to feel at ease and comfortable with this relationship and connection, in which then the paradigms and exposure to many such as religious and other ideologies that are outdated frameworks will no longer be able to vibrate within that frequency, because the shattering of the paradigm of the thinking of how one has perceived the universe to this date will be obliterated, in which it will break the ceiling and open the box to the flooding in of perspectives, ideas, timelines that have not been thought of, perceived, or even brought into your awareness to date. And so that in the period of time, in the lifetime of many of you, will be experienced. And as the acceleration is taking place on your planet, this approach of this vibration is coming in closer and closer. And as we have said many times before and continue to, it is also awakening inside your own biology, as you are literally evolving at a rapid pace, in which your connection and attunement with them is not only from the perception of something outside of you, but an awakening within.
Thank you so much. Wow, great stuff. Suzanne B., go ahead.
Hello, Raphael.
Hello.
With the growing aging population and the marked increase of dementia, what can we do beyond lifestyle changes like sleep, exercise, connection, and clean diet to decrease the chances of dementia or slow down or possibly even reverse the condition if it is already present? Are there particular meditations, visualizations, or other metaphysical practices we can incorporate into our lives to avoid this horrible disease?
Ah, well, there is a lot of, we don't often like to use this word, but poison in your food. And it is deadening your tissues and cells, and it is affecting the synapses and the constant connection to the black boxes of the scrollings and the lacking of attention, in which everything is moving so rapidly, in which the mind never has a break. To be in the emptiness and in the stillness is a large contributing factor. It is being and outside barefoot and utilizing all of your senses, especially that of tactile, meaning that touching the rocks or the water or climbing the trees or smelling the scent of the pine or of the dew in the morning, and attuning to nature and your senses and coming into contact with them will help to lessen this and prevent it for many. In addition, there are it is important to have large quantities of magnesium that is also missing for many in their foods and in their diet, that will help to eliminate the increase of this disease that you are speaking of. Simultaneously, we also, for those who have family who are currently in a state of what appears dementia or are experiencing Alzheimer's disease, that in addition to wanting, as we recognize many of you, to avoid it, it is also part of a spiritual process. And much is occurring, and a link takes place of many on a plane that are able to communicate with one another in their own dimension, that are doing work on the planet. So at times, the soul will decide to elevate its vibration in order to work at a different consciousness level in a network with others, to be of support to the planet while still tethered to the physical body, in which their body is here, but it appears that they mentally are not here. This is very difficult for the family and those around them, but for many of them, it is a choice that was made prior to incarnation, and it is one in which, similar to those who can be thought of as nonverbal autistic beings that are communicating in different realms, they are doing the same. They are hitting a specific network and have a meeting place and are working for the planet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very important questions. All right, Amy, go ahead. Amy Wilson. Amy, you're still muted. No. So we're gonna give you 10 more seconds to see if it happens.
How's that?
There we go.
I
Perfect.
found it. Hi, Raphael.
Hello.
My question is, are there signs from our loved ones or angels, like like feathers,
Yes.
owls, different messages from the other side?
Yes.
Can you expand on that?
Ow. Well, it is that it is easier for those who are on the other side to work with the realms of the animals in order to bring messages and to communicate. It is often also easier to work with electronics like lights or coffee makers or keys or engines. There are different ways in which the attunement to specific frequencies are easier than others when one is wanting to communicate from one plane to another plane while still tethered energetically to a family member or to people in a specific monad of soul families before entering into other realms in which contact is more difficult. And so this can come sometimes in the form of a bird or a butterfly or a ladybug or a feather, or it can come in a scent also is a way of communication where you might smell the scent of frankincense or a rose, etc., or perhaps even that of a chicken wing if they loved that, or something silly. Sometimes you'll hear a sound that will come through. There are different ways of bleeding through the vibration in order for communication. Although we are not here to attune to those of you on this call on a personal level, we want to assure you that what you are experiencing in this moment is a deep connection and is real, and that you do not need to question it, but to know that it is true, and that you are loved, and that this energy is still very present for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Jill.
Thank you, Raphael. I really appreciate everything. My question to you is, with everything that's going on in the world right now, what can we do to continue to raise our vibration and our ascension and our love in the world?
Pay attention to what in the world is going well. Pay attention to what is going well in your body. Pay attention to what is going well in your family. Look outside the window and see what is going well. Spend time where you are and enjoy its beauty, and recognize all the perfection, all of the light, all of the love that is all around you. Amplify that, focus on that, talk about that, attune to that, and know that that is true.
Thank you.
All right. Name.
Name. Thank you.
Name.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I'm wondering if you can talk about Lemurian energy. Specifically, are dolphins and mermaids and whales considered a part of that energy? Thank you.
We are attuning to the Lemurian energy and vibration very strongly, as the next light code is attuned to the violet flame and the frequency of Lemuria, at a time in which those who were aware of the cataclysm coming were able to store codes and flames of light in order to bring forth the deep and profound messages and frequencies of transmutation. The dolphins and the whales and the mermaids also carry this Lemurian vibration and carry the codes within them, and have been guardians and anchors of information and discs of light in preparation for times in which you are in now, so that you may begin to attune to their vibrations and receive their energies. The dolphins have been holding, as well as the whales, and anchoring in grids of light on your planet, and creating a deep sense of stabilization for you for a very, very long time. You feel attuned to their energies and their purity because they carry the original codes. And although beings such as mermaids, which perhaps would be similar to energies on the earth plane or in the inner earth, such as fairies and elemental beings, have been thought of as mythological characters, so have dragons, etc. But all of these energies deep within the earth and within the primordial waters and deep within crystalline cities and places that dwell inside your earth are coming more into conscious awareness by many as they are attuning to their vibrations, as you are coming into strong relationship with them to receive what they have to share, and for you also to share with them. This relationship moves in both directions and it is strengthening. And so as you move into the violet flame light code, you will descend deep into the waters of Lemuria and into the cities of Telos and into the crystalline temples of light, where codes of information stored within the waters that are shared by the mermaids and the dolphins and the whales and the ascended masters and the inner beings and the goddesses of light shall open up spaces and bring you into temples and places where deep rememberings will take place. And you will go through spaces of knowing and journeys of understandings in which you will connect in places that then you will be able to travel to in many other realms that will support you in your daily experience, in your human experience in this dimension. So it is quite thankful that we are, that you would ask of this frequency, for this frequency is flooding in to your planet. And as the waters rise around the globe and the ice melts too, will the codes of light wash through all spaces and inside you and all things, opening up to these deep understandings and rememberings of Lemuria. There will be many discoveries that will take place around your planet in recent times, within the next year to 2 years, that will be paradigm shifting and shattering of thinking and ways of being that will give perhaps what you might call evidence to the times of Lemuria and deep reverence for those who carry their codes.
Thank you. Wow. All right. Ra, go ahead and ask your question.
Oh my God. Thank you, Casey. Hello. Hi, Raphael.
Hello.
I have a question about death. How do we know that our loved ones have truly crossed over and aren't stuck or fragmented? For the love of my life just died on the 11th, and butterflies have been showing up. And now that fear of not wanting to leave Earth is coming up for me too. Can you please shed light on that? Thank you.
What a beautiful number for transition. A sacred gateway into higher dimensions. This being that you are speaking of has crossed over and is flying like a butterfly and is soaring like an eagle, free and alive, and yet still tethered through so much love to bring messages that are comforting at this time. There is never anything to fear around the passing or the leaving of the body. For as you let go of the form that you have clothed yourself in temporarily, the expansion, the love, the vibration, the energy is beyond that in which can be even felt or remembered where you are now. But very quickly, as the spirit lifts and it separates from the body, it begins to merge into a state of bliss, a place of beauty and oneness and connection beyond knowing, a love that isn't felt here on your planet in this way, a sensation about everything and its perfection and how it is all so deeply connected and how you are the designer of all of it, moving rapidly through time and space and dimensions and realms and worlds, only to return home and back again. And so do not fear this, but know that it is a glorious moment, and release your worry of it. But embrace the moment here while you are bathed, clothed, and wrapped in matter and form, to experience the timeline of your humanness until it is no more. For it is none of you in human form will remain here for eternity, for you are ever shifting, evolving, and changing. And just like that butterfly that is coming to say hello, to show its beauty and its wings, its too has transformed and gone through a metamorphosis process in which you have never would want to keep it always at a caterpillar, but to allow it to be free. And so although this loved frequency and transition has occurred through the gateway of the 11, and it is soaring in its beauty, for now you are in a state of separation, but temporary, designed for a purpose and a reason, for an exploration of who it is that you are, and a reason in which you are tethered for a period of time, although fleeting and yet long, all at once, until it is your turn to pass through that gateway and to fly to and to merge as one into the heavenly realms. And so for now, embrace where you are to the fullest and know there is nothing to fear, and that that in which you have loved has not only crossed over, but is flourishing in the grace and the beauty of the divine. And so with that, I send to you from my realm, from the dimension of the angelic kingdom, all of my love and all of my light. Many blessings and good day.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining today and being here in our community. I love you all so much. I'm excited to connect with you on the Lion Gate, one of 5 portals right in the year. We got the solstices and the equinoxes and the Lion Gate. So I'll see you there. I love you so much. Have a beautiful weekend, and I'll try to touch base again maybe on Sunday. Okay? All right. Love, love, everybody. Talk soon.